Madam Chancellor? Mr. Chairman? Okay. Randy Kessler? Roger Latham?
To a taxpayer back there.
Bill Wright? Darla Davis? Jose Moreno? Moreno? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special meeting of the Board of Trustees of Tarrant County College. I'm bringing the board meeting to order, and the first order of business is public comment, and we have some commentators today. Let me remind you that I'm going to do the same thing, that we turn off our cell phones, and so that we will not interrupt our proceedings. And we have about 5 speakers, and it can be no more than 3 minutes long. For those of you who are lawyers, we do not have a red light that will tell you when your time is up, but Angela Robinson, our in-house counsel, is here, and she has some sort of timer. So when their time is up, we will tell you, and we will thank you for your comments. Now, our first comments is going to come from a lawyer, Randy Kessler. Would you like to come up? And he and I have been against each other in several legal matters from time to time, and I'm not sure I can. What did I say? Oh, okay, all right. I'm not sure we can go with your credibility here, but let's see what happens. Ooh, okay. Be nice. Go right ahead.
His mic is not on.
Oh, your mic's not on? It's not going yet.
Turn yours off and see if it works.
Conflict of interest here.
Am I on now? I better stand back. Right? Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and I think almost everybody else here, but a few is either a faculty member, so we're talking to the choir. I took some time and looked at the materials that were online, and Chancellor Hadley, in her cover letter to the annual report, points out that we're experiencing an economic downturn with a very slow recovery, and that TCC's financial condition is at best, quote, murky. And you continue to want to spend. Why don't you rein in your expenditures? You don't even need to look at a performing arts center. There are plenty of other facilities in town, art galleries that you want to have, dance studios, and a 1,000-person coliseum. Unnecessary. We all need to pull in our belts. I serve on the City Council of West Worth Village, very low-level income community. Last week, we had to consider a requirement to increase taxes on our people because of an EPA requirement on stormwater runoff. We elected to only tax them $4 a month because we had to. You're looking at, on most people in our community, increasing their taxes by $10 a month under your budget. They can't afford it. Most people can't afford it. Stop increasing your charges. You went out and purchased a Radio Shack. They gave it away, I guess. You didn't have to buy it. They didn't want it because they couldn't afford it. You continue to build that other monstrosity downtown at great expense. The things I've come up with that alarm me is your operating expenses in 2010, according to your financial statements, increased 22% over 2009. I'm sure all of you are familiar with that, or you don't care. They increased 46.6% over the prior year. Now, there was only a 14% increase in staff benefits during that first period from 2009 to 2010. But from 2008, you've increased staff benefits 26.7%. And now you want to give, because they have a lower, or they have to pay more for their health insurance like my employees do.
Roger Latham?
Do I get any extra money back if I only take 2 minutes?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, no, I'd like to say that basically I think your board is doing an excellent job. I have some concerns about the expenditure of $35 million for the that I have read about the new performing arts facility and so forth. I'm not sure we couldn't rent Bass Hall for that much money for several years running. I would like to encourage you to keep doing a good job for Tarrant County and for the people. And our educational process out here with number 7 in the state is an outstanding record for you. And God bless you. And a little extra next time will be good for me. I'll take an extra minute next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Latham. Our next speaker will be Darla Davis.
Good evening to the board and everyone present. I'm speaking as a resident of Tarrant County. I appreciate the fact that we do have a junior college in our county, but unlike him, I feel the same way. I mean, it's already hard. I mean, most of us are having to sacrifice. I mean, like, I'm a single parent raising my daughter and my nephew. Received an injury, and not only that, was left being a single parent because I ended up being a widow. So for the last almost 3 years, we haven't even seen an increase in survivor benefits. This time last year, I was battling a $4,000 water bill. Had to make adjustments there. You know, we all have to take sacrifice. I need a new vehicle now. But what? I have to continue to go to AutoZone or somewhere. I'm with them on the performing arts. You know, hey, maybe it is cheaper to go to Bass Hall. I mean, right now is a bad time. You got other people who will not come down here because they think it doesn't matter. They figure you're going to do what you want to do anyway. Well, I'm praying that our opinions will count. I mean, after all, we are putting tax dollars into your facility. I mean, I may clip a coupon. I may decide, I haven't been to a movie in I don't know how long because I have a choice to feed them or go on an expenditure, which I can't afford right now. So for you to turn around and for the reasons that you say to go up, even to go up on tuition, if I had a child right now, I couldn't afford to send him. You know, education is supposed to be something that we all should be able to achieve as hard work and if we desire, but so many people now, they can't afford it. A lady just told me a few minutes ago, and she works at Goodwill. See, I shop at the thrift store. I make cutbacks. But when I'm being forced to pay for something that I can say whatever I want, you still going to do what you want? That's not fair to me because you're not the one sitting down trying to balance a checkbook to make sure that I can keep clothes on their back and food on the table. Now, performing arts can wait. That's a want. That's not a need. But there is a need for us to keep paying the bills that we have to, whether it be water, gas, electric, or just trying to make it day-to-day on a Monday meal at KFC or Popeyes. So I hope that you take in consideration not only what I've said, but the other ones too. Because in the end, while y'all sitting at home, and I don't know what your sacrifices are, we're having to make yet another one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for bringing your kiddos. Our next speaker is Bill or William Wright.
I'm afraid I can't agree with the fellow that says you all are doing a great job. This is supposed to be a non-profit organization. From 2008 to 2010, your net assets have increased by $283.5 million, which means the taxpayers were overcharged $111 million in 08, $93.5 million in 09, and $78.4 million in 2010. Also, your report last year said you're facing a murky situation. This year it says we're in an extremely strong financial position. Absolutely you are. But the taxpayers are in an extremely weak position. I note that the scholarship expense is just totally out of control, $55 million in 2010. That's greater than what you charge for tuition, for God's sake. You're giving away the store. The bad debts from students are increasing at about $500,000 a year. The way to handle that is a debit card, a credit card, or cash. End of story. The bureaucracy is rampant. There are more administrators than teachers, and the administrators earn more than the teachers. The instruction expense is only 35% of your total expenses. I don't understand why you need a diversity officer at $170,000 a year. That's just over the top. This proposed $30 million facility in North Richland Hills is not within your so-called mission. You should abandon it, and you should lower the tax rate, not increase it.
Thank you. And I might mispronounce the Jose Moreno, or is it Moreno? Jose, okay. I couldn't read the last letter on your card.
It's Jose Moreno, taxpayer. Yes, sir. Hey, I'm retired school teacher, and I went to TCJC, South Campus, when they first opened up. So I'm all for it, very supportive. And when the idea of the campus downtown came up, I thought it was a great plan. We needed a downtown campus. And then we got that project started, and things didn't go well, cost overrun, criticism on the sunken plaza, and I don't mean to sound so negative, but some of the past administration, they got into something that was way over their head. They were not engineers. It became a very expensive project. So we ended up buying Ready Shack building, and we ended up with 2 downtown campuses now, which will be expensive, to operate. But I still support TCC, and but I'm concerned about the tax increase. I don't think we need that right now, and I hope you would consider retired taxpayers, and we'll continue to support you. Overall, y'all done a great job, but we just need to consider the average people. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the speakers that I have on my list. Since there are no more speakers, we will now go into our public hearing on the proposed budget. Let's go with we have a consent agenda. Are there anybody on the board that's desirous of withdrawing something from the consent agenda? Performance goals and addendum to the construction contract. If not, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda? Louise Appleman says that makes a motion, and is seconded by Ms. Van de Griff. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Answer is none. Now we're going to consider the operation budget. As a matter of fact, but I need to inform the board, some of whom may have not heard this, Section 44, our illustrious new in-house counsel, as Angela Robinson has told us, the Section 44 of the Education Code provides that we must consider the budget and then consider tax increases to fill the budget. And that doesn't sound logical in some ways, but that's what the statute says, so we're going to continue with the agenda that we have. Madam Chancellor, you're going to make a presentation regarding the Alliance Learning Center Roundtable and the Visual Performing Arts Center Roundtable.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the board members have received copies of the reports that were done by Dr. Eva LeBlanc, President of the Northwest Campus, on the Alliance Center Proposal Roundtable, as well as Dr. Larry Darlage has presented one for the Performing Arts Center Roundtable. There were a very good group of people gathered on both of those campuses to look at the needs of the citizenship, if you will, for the future. Both of those projects are built around future job creation. People don't think much about the Performing Arts Center being able to provide jobs, but that's one of the main things that will come from that. There will be, in the proposal as it is today, a 1,000-seat auditorium so that the college will have facilities that will house all of our faculty and staff and a lot of training programs. But in addition to that, there are a significant number of technical programs that will be offered in that facility that we are not able to offer anymore. I'm writing an editorial for the Fort Worth Rotary Club that's going to be published next month. And one of the things that I say in the editorial is that Tarrant County College provides really outstanding opportunities for training. I specifically am talking about the Trinity River East campus, where we will train all of the nurses and the other allied professional programs. And I'm talking about the additions that we're going to have on that campus. Dr. Fulkerson and her staff, as I have reported to you before, are preparing a careers pathway program. We have hundreds of students. I believe the number is somewhere about 200 to 300 students apply for every one of those programs. Most of those programs can admit 20 to 30 students per year, which means that we turn away large numbers of students. That campus now is going to be able to capture those students and attract them to non-credit certificate programs that may take maybe a 6-month stay or a 9-month stay, so they can earn a certificate and be able to get a job immediately. Everything that we have done at Tarrant County College over the last couple of years is focused toward student success. We believe that every student who comes into our doors has a right to expect to be successful with us. If you go to the proposal for the Alliance Center at Alliance, you will see in that proposal a number of new certificate programs that are proposed, again, for that program, so that students who want to perhaps be in avionics may not be able to do that, but they may be able to do something else in that field that will prepare them for that. So you will see from the reports that came from the presidents the sentiment of the citizens who came to help us look at the proposal that had been put together by the faculty and staff primarily, as well as the outside community people who come in to help us. So we're thankful to our citizens for taking an interest in making sure that they make their voices heard on what kind of training opportunities we should be providing for the future. I will also take this opportunity to remind all of us that it is short-sighted for any institution not to look forward. Whether or not you decide to go forward with the proposals that are presented tonight, of course, is your option. But you cannot start planning for 2015 in 2015. If you're going to be prepared to meet the needs of the community, you must start planning ahead of time. Of course, there are different ways to do that, and one of the great things about the democratic process is that everybody has a right to come and express their opinion and tell us how we think, how they think we should do what we do. But again, as long as I'm standing and I have the microphone, I must address one concern, that we have more administrators than faculty. That is not anything close to the right number, Mr. Wright. We don't have more administrators than faculty. I think perhaps the number that you were looking at was the total number of other employees other than faculty. That includes primarily support staff. The other thing that I will say while I have the microphone is that Tarrant County College District has one of the lowest employee-to-student ratios of any of the large community colleges in Texas. If you look across the state and look at the very large institutions, you will find that TCC rates at the bottom of the list pretty much when it comes to the number of full-time employees that we have per student, which means then that the people who work here at Tarrant County College really have to work quite a bit harder because we don't have as many people to take care of our students. On the other side of that coin, when you look at this budget, I really hope you'll think about the people that we serve. The people who come to us in many cases, and one of the things I say in the article, we have students who come to us who are absolutely well prepared for college, and they are bound to be physicists, nuclear scientists, whatever you want to be. They're bound to do that when they come here, and they get an excellent education when they come to TCC. We get a report back annually from universities who take our transfer students, and our students always do as well as, and in many cases better than, the students who started their careers at those universities. On the other side of the spectrum, we get people who come to us saying, help us, I must learn how to read. Help me, I must learn how to write. Help me, I must learn how to do math. I can't get a job. And so I need these skills in order to do that. We go the gamut, from those who can't read to those who come here ready to bust the top out of whatever class they take. It is our job to serve every citizen of Tarrant County who comes. So it is with that that I bring back this budget to you, proposed budget for 2011-12. I'm not going to take a lot of time to go through each part of it, because you have seen this now probably more times than what you'd like. We've had a number of board workshops. We've had an opportunity for all of you to have input, as well as for the general public to have input. I'll remind the listening audience, if they're listening, and those of you who are here, we broadcast all of our board meetings every time we meet. And we also archive those on our website so people can go back and look at those board meetings and see what happened over time, see about the decisions that were made. And we're always happy to answer any questions that you have about anything. The other thing I'd like to address is that the budget was prepared actually from the bottom up. It always is. One of the comments that I saw that was posted by a reader who looked at our budget said that he wanted to ask his U.S. congressman to take a look at how we investigate, as a matter of fact, how we do our budget process. Well, I'd love for my congressman and anybody else's congressman to know for certain how we do our budget, because I think they'll be impressed. We start our budgeting process at the campus level or at the departmental level, and we ask people to take a look at what they have in their budgets, tell us whether or not it's sufficient for what they need to do as they work toward student success. If it isn't sufficient, tell us what they need. All of those needs come from the bottom up to the CELT members and the faculty members. We have 2 faculty members from each campus that represents their faculty senates, and they sit with us through every part of the budget. They have input. We ask what they think. They tell us what they think if we don't ask what they think, but we always do. And they are back there laughing now. They know that's true. They're not shy at all. So we have a very good give and take. At the end of every budget process, many things are left on the table. People ask for things that they say they need, and it isn't that we don't agree that they're needed, but there just isn't money for everything. So we have to prioritize everything that comes to the budget. At the very beginning levels is prioritized by the person who's making the request. These are the things I'd like to have. Just in case I can't get all of them, this is my first priority, my second priority, my third priority. And so we build the budget that way from the beginning to the end with a lot of input. So now for what we have here, the proposed budget. Ready for the next one, Shelley? This is option A, and option A has the $2 per semester hour increase, and option A also has the board moving from the current tax rate to the effective tax rate. And for those who are listening, perhaps in the audience for the first time, I will tell you that the state law allows this Board of Trustees as an elected body to move from the current tax rate to the effective tax rate without going for a public hearing. This board opted to do a public hearing anyway. It didn't have to do that, but it did opt to do the public hearing. And what that means is that last year there was $120 billion. How much was it, Mark, left on the table that we didn't get taxes for? Whatever that number was. What was the number? I'm sorry. No, $12 billion, 12 million is what we left on the table in taxes. I was talking about the taxable values. $158 million worth of taxable value. The college did not get taxes for that. The law allows you to go back and recoup that this year if you choose. At any given year, the board can look at the effective tax rate and can go to do that. So that's what that's about. You will see under the third item there, renewal and replacement, that the current budget for this year for 2010-11 was $64.9 million. The increase in tuition of $2 per semester hour and going to the effective tax rate would bring in an additional $13.9 million. And you can see that all of that money is placed under renewals and replacement. And I will tell you that there is no money in that budget to build a new building. That's money for renewal and replacements for our current facilities. Our campus on South is 44 years old this year. Northeast is 43 years old. Northwest is 36 years old. And those three campuses are beginning to show a lot of need for renewal of facilities and replacement of facilities. We have all kinds of things that must be done. Some of them are prescribed by federal law. Some of them are prescribed by state law. Some of them are prescribed by local ordinances. And we are responsible for bringing things up to code that were built to code 40 years ago or 35 years ago that are no longer at code. So that $13.9 million will be used to take care of many of those projects. That's the main difference you'll see between option A of the budget and option B. So if you go to option B now, and you can see that option B has $896,527 of new money for renewal and replacements, which would put it at $65.8 million instead of the number that you just saw a minute ago. Next one. So in the maintenance and operation budget in option A, again, you will see that the state appropriation is increasing by $1.8 million. And this is also an opportunity for me to remind our listening public that something they already know. I'll just remind you that the state has constantly reduced the appropriation for higher education, and especially community colleges. And our enrollments keep growing. They have grown and grown in Tarrant County. We get more and more people coming to us for help. As the economics get worse for people, they look to Tarrant County College to help them get better jobs. One of the groups that I didn't mention earlier when I was talking about the people served, and that's the number of people who've been laid off from jobs, whose jobs have completely closed down, or whose jobs have been downsized, and they come back to us for retraining so that they too can get a livable wage. Many of the students that we get in our nursing program and other allied health programs, many of them have baccalaureate degrees, and some of them have other degrees, and they come back to get a technical skill so that they can get a job. Tarrant County College fulfills that need very well. Also, the other thing that one of the speakers mentioned was that our scholarship costs have outweighed our tuition. I think the number he's talking about is financial aid. Perhaps much of the money that students pay for going to college comes from financial aid. That's a federally sponsored program. And without financial aid, many students would not be able to go to school at all. So that isn't money that's coming from Tarrant County College for scholarships. We would be great if we had that kind of money to give for scholarships, but that's primarily financial aid. So you can see in option B, the increase would be $22.1 million, and go back to option A for a minute. And the option A increase, and this again is in maintenance and operations, would still be again $22.1 million. Next slides, please. Next one. I'm sorry. Yes, option B. On this version, I think the only thing that I'll call to your attention is the non-credit hour tuition that we have reduced by $750,000. That's the funded tuition. That's the money that we get from the state. The state does reimburse the college for a part of the non-credit courses that students take. And then the next line is the non-credit tuition that is paid for by the people who want to attend Tarrant County College. And we're anticipating that both of those lines will be reduced somewhat. In our designated reserve, we'll be proposing about $7 million less than what we proposed last year for the reserves. And again, option B does not include a tax increase or a tuition increase. Go ahead to the next one. We did that one already. And that one, go to the next. This is the one, the renewal and replacement on option A, if you elect to increase tuition by $2 per semester hour. And I'll tell you once more that the average load for a student at Tarrant County College is somewhere around 7.6 or 7 load hours, a little bit less than 8, which means that a student would pay $16 for the semester more than this semester. They would pay $16 more next semester. For a full load, which normally is 15 hours per semester, that would be an additional $30 that the student would pay for tuition. Now, if you look at the tuition charges at Tarrant County College and compare that to tuition charges around the state, I believe our number is we will be the 6th lowest in the state. Tuition per semester hour ranges from about $119 per semester hour down to, I think it's 46 at Collin County in Collin County College in Collin County. And that is I think one of the main reasons why the board asked me to look at what would happen if we increase tuition, because it hasn't been increased at Tarrant County College for 5 years. We've been at $50 per semester hour, and the $50 includes fees that the students would pay as well, so there is no additional cost to the student in addition to the tuition cost. So again, that increasing the tuition by $2 per semester hour and increasing to the effective tax rate, if you look at the total revenue under renewal and replacement, you'll see it goes to $78.9 million for an increase of 13.991454. That would give the college significantly more money for renewals and replacements. Now, I said it didn't include any new buildings, but I think I made an error there. There is money in that 78 million or the 65 million, 64 point something million to move forward with the energy technology building on the South Campus. That's a building that's been under preparation for the last 5 years, I guess. As a matter of fact, all three of these projects have been on the drawing board for at least 5 years. The Energy Technology Center has moved forward faster because the facility that houses those programs right now is really in extremely bad shape, so bad until it is recommended that it be demolished and replaced with a new building. So there is money in that $78 million number. It's also in the $64 million number that we would move forward with the Energy Technology Center. I'm sorry? We just do it slower. We have a little money in that number, that 64 million to the 78 million, to move forward with the study of building an alliance, and a little money in the budget to move forward with the study of building a performing arts center, but no money in the budget, either one of those budgets, to actually build a facility. So we're still in the planning stages. Next slide, please. Oh, by the way, go back one more. I'm sorry. And you can see at the bottom of that page how that money would be spent. 40 million of it for things. When it says district, what that means is that the money would be spent throughout the district. As example, I will give you is we've been working for about the last 5 years on emergency procedures and operations for our students. There are some things that we're required to do. It's taken us quite a bit of time to get all of those expenditures lined up. One of those, for instance, would be blue phones, those emergency phones throughout the district, where if a student is in a parking lot and gets in trouble, you push a button, a dispatcher comes online, knows where that student is, and is able to dispatch help to that student immediately. We also have outfitted many of our campuses and other places, many of our classrooms and other spaces on campus with message boards. If there is an emergency, how do you get a message to 50,000 students? It takes quite a bit, and so there are a lot of the money for things like that. If you look at the Northwest campus and you have $9.9 million, just one of the things that comes to my mind immediately is that we're having to bring one of the restrooms up to code in the student center. There is no way to bring it up to code except to knock the walls out and add on to the building. There's not space to do otherwise. That building was built to code in 1975, actually, when it was built. But now it is not up to code anymore. Codes have changed and this is primarily for access for the handicapped. That's just an example of the kinds of things, that must be done. Next one, please. Option B, you can see that all the numbers for expenditures in the breakdown are significantly less than option A. Again, that's because many of those projects would not be done, or many of them would be done piecemeal. You do a little bit now and a little bit later. I mentioned the Energy Technology Center. This is just an outline of some of the things by campus that will be done. Notice the Energy Technology Center is at the top, but also you have renovation of physical education, women's locker room, renovation of the nursing building. The nursing program, as you know, moved from South Campus to the Trinity River East Campus, and that space is being repurposed for other uses. The campus drainage improvement project, that was probably a 3-year project. All of the pipes, underground pipes, had to be replaced on the South Campus, and that's a part of the drainage part that's going there. The sewer pipes were all replaced the last couple of years, and now working on draining projects. Pumping optimization, upgrades, and modifications are also required to be done on that campus. On the next campus, I talked about programs, technical programs, new programs that would come as a result of these buildings. And on South, you see we'd have a building operations, industrial maintenance, industrial refrigeration, natural gas, renewable energy. All of those are going to be new programs. Most of these programs are going to be certificate programs, which means that a student, again, can go and get a certificate of completion and maybe later come back and get an associate degree while they're earning at a higher level. And by the way, the industry people will tell us on a regular basis that they do need associate degrees in many instances, but they also need certificate holders who can come and start, and then they can teach them a lot of the other things that they need to know. So there's quite a need out there for technicians. The Northeast Campus Capital Improvement Renewal Projects, again, the Performing Arts Center has money only for a feasibility study. It has nothing that would move forward for building that center. Renovation of the Communication Arts Building, renovation of the Student Center for Career and Employment Services, design of new domestic water distribution systems, and ceiling and lighting modernization. If the Performing Arts Center is built, next one, please. Okay. Northwest, the Alliance Center feasibility study. Again, there's money there only for the study. We must build a new road for the Northwest campus. We have one main entrance to that campus. That campus started with, I don't know, less than 5,000 students. I'm sorry? 3,000. It has 14,000 students now. So you can imagine trying to get 14,000 students out of one entrance. That's a very expensive project, building a new road. We need ceilings and lighting, renovations and repairs to the existing firing range. Eagle Mountain Saginaw is building a new high school complex right behind our firing range. And the firing range is an open range, which means that occasionally a bullet may get out. We know that happens from time to time, and it's incumbent upon us to renovate that facility so that we can do our best to ensure that no child is injured on that ground. Eventually, we'll be building a new firing range, because the only way you can be absolutely certain that a bullet doesn't get out of there is to have an enclosed range. And so that's what we're going to be required to do. The Southeast Campus, we have money there for renovation of the Counseling Center, renovation for quiet study areas. We also must have a new road and traffic signals for Southeast Campus. Again, that campus was built for 5,000 students. It now has 15,000 students on that campus. We recently had an emergency on the campus and tried to evacuate, and it was pretty big chaos out there, trying to get students out of from the egress. So that's something that has to have attention. And of course, we have renovations and upgrades to mechanical, electrical, and plumbing infrastructure. The Trinity River campus, the only thing that we need to do with that campus is provide more parking. That campus is growing very fast. We're up to right at 7,000 students, over 7,000 this semester already. Starting the third year of operation, we're already at 7,000 students on that campus. And so we have money in the budget to prepare that Henderson Street property for parking and provide for security down there as well. This is the slide I was looking for a minute ago. The technical programs that will be in the Performing Arts Center would be piano technology, recording engineering, concert sound and lights, music performance, business entertainment, theater management, commercial music. None of those programs are in existence today at Tarrant County College. A new facility will give us the opportunity to provide those. And again, I remind you that most of those will be certificate programs that will allow students to go out and get jobs. At the Alliance Center, we would add aircraft assembly repair, composites repair, flight training, and logistics if that center is built. There are a number of reports that show that students who graduate from community colleges today, in today's environment, are earning higher starting salaries than students who graduate with baccalaureate degrees. That's because of the change in our economy, and so many more technical skills are needed today. And we are trying to close the gaps. Texas has a program, and we've had it now for 10 years, where we're trying to close the gaps between the number of Anglo students who go to college and the number of Hispanic and African American students who go to college, because we are not turning out enough people to meet the demands of the economy. And of course, when you don't turn people out to meet the demands of the economy, companies bring people in from overseas to meet those demands. We believe very strongly that the good jobs ought to go to the people who live in Tarrant County, who live in Texas. And so we're doing our part at Tarrant County College to make sure that we continue to add those technical programs that will yield good benefits, not just for our students, but also for the taxpayer. Because if you look at the reports that we have on the value of an education, the economic impact, if you will, of Tarrant County College on the Tarrant County economy, you'll be very pleased at what you see of the value that the students who graduated at Tarrant County College add to our economy. And if you take into account the number of students who graduate and get jobs and take them off the public assistance rolls, the ones who don't need subsidized housing, the ones who don't need subsidized health care, and the ones who don't need food stamps or the Lone Star card, it is a tremendous addition to our economy. Next one, please. And now, board members, it is time for you to look at the options and determine what you want to do. Next one. The first item on our agenda, will somebody tell me what that is? I'm not sure what the first one is for you. I didn't bring it with me. The budget.
Yes, the budget.
Thank you. The first item is the budget, Mr. Greenhill.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, board members, are there any questions?
Well, we can,
I didn't hear you mention in your presentation how much revenue we lost from the state this year. I think that would be good to make that statement publicly.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. That is a good question. I like to talk about how much we've lost over the last 3 years, last 4 years, which is phenomenal. But for this past year alone, it was right at $7 million. I think that's the correct number, Nancy. 8. Is it $8 million? You have to come to the microphone. I guess you have to tell me what to say. Make it simple. He just wants to know how much we've lost. You have to talk in the microphone.
This year, we actually didn't lose. You compare with what we get, they lost 7.5 last year. But if you compare the 7 point already lost, we get 1.5 million back. The mainly is we lost about 9 to 10 million is they don't reimburse our fringe benefit, insurance, and retirement.
So it's about $9 million total. Right, Nancy? Yes, about $9 million, Mr. Hudson.
We were just having an impromptu meeting here. We heard a number about how much this tax increase would cost the average person. I think the number was erroneous as well. For example, the average home in Tarrant County is appraised at $147,000, I believe. And how much is that increased tax, not counting homesteads or other exemptions there, Mark? $17. So that's with not looking at homesteads or anything else. Of course, if you're seniors, your taxes are frozen. Anyway, yeah, not a month. That would be a year. So you're looking about, I think it's more like $1.70 a month, something like that.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
are you finished?
I am finished, yes.
Okay. So, as I understand our agenda, we have we're going to need to discuss a resolution to adopt our budget, because that's what the law requires us to do. And in your package, there are two resolutions. There's one for what the Chancellor has called Option A, and one called Option B. And I believe the right procedure would be to have a motion and a second, and then we'll discuss. We'll go over the options that we have. And point of order? Okay. Sure.
You turn your mic on, please, Ms. Apple.
I would move approval of the resolution relevant to option A.
Please, no comments from the, madam, please sit down. We're not open for discussion. If you, please sit down, and thank you very much. I appreciate that. We understand your concern. We're going to discuss it now, and is there a second for that motion? Second by Mr. Carter. Now, let's discuss.
Mr. President, I have a comment. I need to explain my no vote, because I think that in a downturn in the economy, we are sending the wrong message. I know that the amounts that we're increasing in taxes and tuition is small. If you're looking at $30 a semester, it's not a lot of money for people who have a lot of money. But if you're washing dishes for support just to make it through college, $30, according to my experience, will keep you in peanut butter sandwiches for 2 weeks. Just kidding. It can be a lot of money. So I think at this time, with the economy going down the way that it is, it really does send the wrong message. I know that we have people in Washington who need to grow up and take some responsibility for things, because they're looking at cutting out the Pell Grant, so that's going to hit the students. Then we have people in Austin who, in my opinion, could have handled their priorities a little bit, and we kind of get shafts. So it's not all our fault. Unfortunately, local government has to make the final decisions, and that's just a way of explaining why I'm going to vote no, because I think it's important that you know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Mr. Carter?
No, I think I expressed my sentiments last time. I think these are very difficult decisions. I think it's very clear that the state government is slowly working its way down to where they pay less than 10% or about that for their share of the cost, and it's their intention to pass those costs on to here. I also think that when you're looking at another 8,000 or 10,000 students over just the very last few years, that the costs of these programs are just going up incrementally, and that it behooves us to create many, many more certification programs. I have reservations, and I know when I read the Star-Telegram story about the Fine Arts Center, it sounded like it was a done deal, and we're going to start construction next week. But it's just one of those things we look at. We look at every building, and it typically takes years for these things to take place. So, we'll study it this year, this fiscal year, and then we'll probably have to go make a decision, go or no go, next fiscal year. I think this is painful, but I think that the county gets an enormous amount of benefit out of what we're doing, And even though it pains me to do so, I'm going to vote in favor of A here.
Any other comments? Ms. Vandergriff, or obviously, well, no, we don't. I agree with OK Carter. I'm a newbie as well, and I'm learning a lot about this institution, but it does such an enormous amount of good in our communities, and we need to maintain what we have. And as Mr. Carter said, we do not have anything in the budget to build a building except the electronic center. because it's just going to be a feasibility study. And when we talk about building buildings, we're going to be looking at other alternatives. We do have, the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, we have no debt, absolutely zero debt. And from an economic point of view, if you talk to you talk to financial advisors, what's on our books in the sinking fund is virtually nothing. So that's good news. And I think if we're going to consider building any other buildings, and there has been criticism about some of the buildings built, we're going to have to think of different ways of building buildings. There are also alternatives in tax, in little, the time, if you're going to have bonds or tax notes, the time is now, because the interest rates are very low and our credit rating is very high. So this board, with its new finance committee and committees as a whole, is going to be considering all kinds of ways of funding things like that if we do it at all. And I also want to thank Mr. Carter for our new process. I think I said in the paper that our budgeting process is a work in progress. This is our 4th meeting, and we are if we're not transparent, we're doing our best to do so. With all these meetings, public input, and that's the way democracy ought to work. I'm proud of the fact that we've been receiving all of the input. Every email that was sent to us was forwarded to us, and we all read them very carefully. Well, at least I did. We all read them and are aware of the public sentiment. As I said in the paper, it's been a mixed bag, both for and against. I'm going to vote in favor of the tax increase, the option A. Any other comments? Any other words of wisdom? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Oh, there you go.
I won't say that I have words of wisdom, but I do share the same sentiment as Trustee Hudson. At this time, I'm not comfortable voting yes for this resolution. I feel confident that without an increase of the effective tax rate, that we will still continue to operate effectively and efficiently for student success. And right now, that's what it's all about. In the budget, without the rate increase, I do believe that we'll sustain the programs and provide the tools for students to earn their degrees and their certificates as needed.
Okay. Any other observations? Well, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Excuse me, Mr. I believe for the record,
We have to read it?
the person who made the motion must read the resolution. Ms. Appleman, you're the person who made the motion.
Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Tarrant County College District that the Tarrant County College budget for the fiscal year 2011-2012 in the amount of $348,992,268, comprised of the following amounts: $246,671,354 for maintenance and operation, and $7,664,325 for debt service, $78,922,468 for renewal and replacements, $11,654,121 for building fund, and $4,080,000 for auxiliary enterprises be approved, and that a certified copy of the budget be filed with the state agencies as required by law, and that said budget be included by reference in its entirety as a part of the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Since the public will be, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And that's going to be, well, let's raise our hands to make sure. Okay. All against? The motion carries. So the budgets have been approved.
Thank you, Mr. Greenhill. The next item is a part of the budget, calls for consideration and approval of salary and benefits for 2011-12. And the first item is the entry salary schedule. You received that sometime before. There is no change whatsoever in that. And so I need a motion and approval of the entry salary schedules.
Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Move approval.
Second.
And it's been seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Hudson, you want to make a
I have a
statement?
question. As I understand the process, we have voted in the first motion to approve everything that's down the agenda, right?
No, we have not.
No, sir.
Just all of the tax rates and all that stuff by definition has
Well,
been approved in the budget.
I disagree. As a point of order, that the law requires us to approve the budget
budget
first.
first.
And that's 44, that's exactly what the statute says. And then we have to approve everything that comes down. Even though it sounds backwards, that's what the law requires.
That's not my question. My question, I mean, the order that we vote in, if we voted for option A, we have by default voted for the tax increase because you can't have option A without the tax increase, right?
That is true. We can't have option A without the tax increase, but as our general counsel explained to us, that's the way the state orders us to do it.
Yeah,
And I understand is they say you must identify the need for something before you can set the tax rate.
I understand that. But I don't think I'm communicating. Well, never mind.
Okay.
The next,
Go ahead.
the next item then would be to approve the employee health insurance supplement of $1,000 per employee.
A motion, discussion?
So moved.
There's been a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by OK Carter. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Tuition increase.
Yes, sir, that's the next item. We need a motion on that.
Okay. The motion, we have a motion to increase, well, option A is to increase the tuition of the in-district people by $2 and the others as well. Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second? I'm sorry, we're not discussing right now. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Second by OK Carter. All in favor say aye. Aye. Is there opposed? 2.
The
Thank you
next
very
item,
much.
Mr. Greenhill, is the authority for me to establish the non-credit tuition and fees, and you have received information on that. The goal of Tarrant County College is to charge no more than is required to offer the courses to the students. So the college isn't making a profit on that. It is just simply recouping the cost.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor. We've discussed that a great deal. Excuse me? Okay. If someone would like, if there's a motion.
Mr. Chairman, based on the recommendation of the Chancellor, I move that we delegate to the Chancellor the interim authority for establishing non-credit tuition and fees, including the establishing of zero tuition if local resources and state funding provide sufficient contributions to cover the cost of offering the course.
Thank you, Doctor. Do I have a second for any second for that motion? Second. By Ms. Vandergriff. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 1? No. Oh, you just put your hand up. Well, okay. All right. Now we're going to the authority for the Chancellor for set individual salaries and sign contracts. I understand this is a board policy anyway, but annually we confirm this authority, something like that?
Yes, sir, just
Okay.
so I'll make sure I'm legal.
Okay, you're going to, all right. Is there a particular motion, Madam Legal Chancellor, that we should know? So do I have a motion that we that we give the authority to the Chancellor to set individual salaries and sign contracts? So moved by Mr. Carter. Is there a second? There's a tie there, but I'm going to recognize Ms. Vandergrift. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? None. That motion carries too.
The next item, Mr. Greenhill, is consideration and approval of the tax exemptions for certain disabled and senior citizens. And you have a copy of that in your books, and you also see it on the screen.
Exemptions. We need exemptions. Did we get a point of order? Did we get a question on whether or not those of us who are 65 or older must abstain on this one? Probably not, so I'm going to vote for it anyway.
It'll hurt the board if it does.
Is it? I don't think, that's kind of, well, that question was raised whether or not persons over the age of 65. All right, you're losing a lot of money on this board. Okay, do I hear, who would like to give a motion on this one? Because I have the motion in front of me.
So moved.
Well,
You
here
have to
it
read
is.
it. You must read it, please. It's a resolution.
Second, but you have to read the.
You have to read the motion. You have-
Okay. Be it so ordered by the Board of Trustees of the Tarrant County College District that all ad valorem tax exemptions comply with state law and are as follows. Disabled veterans, 30%, which equates to $5,000, 50%, $7,500, 70%, $10,000, 100%, $12,000. Number 2, other disabled persons at $3,000. And number 3, persons over age 65, $50,000.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion? Ms. Louise Appleman seconds it. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I see none. Okie dokie.
Okay, thank you. The next item there, Mr. Greenhill, is setting of the tax rates for 2011. We have a maintenance and operations rate and a debt service rate.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Okay, resolution, option A. Be it so ordered by the Board of Trustees of the Tarrant County Colleges that there will be levied for the year 2011 on all property owned within the boundaries of the Tarrant County Junior College District, Tarrant County College District on the first day of the current year, January 1, 2011, except so much thereof as may be exempt by the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state, the following. Taxes, 1, an ad valorem tax of and at the rate of 14.206 cents of the $100 cash value, therefore estimated in the lawful currency of the United States for the support and maintenance of the Tarrant County College District. An ad valorem tax of and at the rate of 0.691 cents of the $100 cash value, therefore estimated in the lawful currency of the United States to pay the principal and interest of the 2001 series bonds, the 2004 series bonds, the 2005 series bonds.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Or is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Ms. Appleman seconded it. Let's raise our hands. All in favor, raise a hand. There are 4. All against? 2. So the motion carries.
That's 1. Now vote on 2, please.
I'm a little confused because you have number, okay, you just voted on, you read the whole thing, but you're just reading.
I'm
okay.
sorry. I will add 2. An ad valorem tax of and at the rate of 0.691 cents of the $100 cash value, therefore estimated in the lawful currency of the United States to pay the principal and interest of the 2001 series bonds, the 2004 series bonds, and the 2005 series bonds.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Louise Appleman seconds it. All in favor, raise a hand. All opposed? It's 4 to... Okay. That motion carries as well.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
can I make a comment?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, before you make your comment, Mr. Hudson, I'd just like for you and Ms. Vandergrift both to know that you don't have an option on that one. I mean, you can vote however you want, but you're required by law to set a tax rate that pays your debt.
That was my comment.
So that one is separate.
Madam Chancellor, that was my comment. The reason that I didn't vote against that one is because the voters of Tarrant County voted to incur that debt, and as I understand it, we have something around $32 million now that we're paying on, and we don't have any choice. We're required by law to pay that back. So that was the reason that I did not vote against that.
Okay.
Excuse me. Does
Yes,
the vote
ma'am.
stand the way it was? So what is the vote on that?
We need to revise the vote on that because I think y'all voted, yeah, obviously. So let the record
Are you
show,
getting that? Are you getting this?
let the record show that it was a unanimous vote in favor of number 2, the tax, for the debt service fund. I believe that is correct.
And I think 4-2 on the first one.
4-2 on the first one. Let the record show that it was unanimous on the second one because we were required by law to do that. Okay. Now, the next, we're going to announce, everybody has got in their, all the board members have in their package the dates for the proposed dates for our meetings. Is there any objection at this time to, well, there it is, at this time to that? I don't think we need to take any action on it, but those dates are pretty normal. Any comment on those dates? Okie dokie. That being the end of our agenda, I'll announce that you have something to say? Oh, I'm sorry. I missed oh, I didn't miss it. Oh, we have, part of the consent agenda was the performance goals for Irma, for the Chancellor. We've discussed this on several occasions, and it's a very robust set of goals. And I think her message is going to be, these are her goals, and she's going to tell the Celt what those goals are. That we're all going to work as a team. As I've said before, there's no I in team, and we're all going to work real hard to see that Irma can, Miss Hadley can achieve these goals. But they're very, very ambitious goals for student success. Most of them, if not all of them, are student success. Thank you, everybody. The meeting is adjourned. Is that okay? Did you need some? Okay. Meeting's adjourned. All right.